Hey guys, so my last video was a little bit emotional, but okay, so nonetheless, after going through that, and that's without the details and all of that, of course, um, I wound up going online to find somebody in a relationship, to get into a relationship with. After being called every name that somebody could think that is derogatory to call somebody that's um, a lesbian in family and stuff, I chose to seek out a male type relationship, as I had felt that since I had been violated and hurt by my uncle, that I would, get over it, and it'd be something that I could figure out how to do. I mean, I had boyfriends before. I didn't have problems holding hands or anything. It's not like I really felt anything. I didn't really care for boys in that sense. I'd rather be friends with them, but it was easier, I think. I mean, I was 19, so that's where I met the ex. I remember the site was called singlesnet.com, which that has changed into a different one. So we talked on the phone, like through text, because I had a job at the time. I was working for CYFD in New Mexico. At 19, I got set up through a job thing through my high school. Even though I was out of high school, they still helped me to gain employment somewhere, to gain some other work skills, so office skills and stuff like that. I got a cell phone, and we had talked through text and over the phone for months, and I wound up moving in with him. So we talked probably for 2 or 3 months. I moved in with him around that time, and things were all right. He was really nice, and he was sweet to me, and he was kind, and he was understanding, and I just figured as long as I was treated right, I could pretty much make it work with anyone. With this mindset, I just wanted something better than what I had grown up in, and anything was better than what I had been through. So, I wound up getting pregnant 4 months after moving in, and that's when everything started to go downhill. He started to change because his mom didn't believe that he could have kids, because he was in a previous relationship with somebody else for 8 years. So when I got pregnant and she found out, she wasn't happy. She accused me, not really in front of me, but she accused me of sleeping with somebody else, getting pregnant, and pinning the baby on him. A lot of my family was upset that I was with him, because they didn't feel that I matched well with him. My grandma's words were, "He's only going to hurt you." And I stood up for the relationship, even though he did not. So I figured once my daughter was born, things would change, things would get better, and there would be no more questions, and life would move forward, and that didn't happen. Fast forward into, I think my daughter was about 6 or 7 months old. I got pregnant with my second child, and my mother-in-law wasn't happy, because of course, because of her meddling and my smart ass, I decided to go ahead and jump in, and when I did, I got married to him. Things got worse, and when my daughter was 6 or 7 months old, I got pregnant. She wasn't happy about it. I had a miscarriage, and the response to that, while hurting over a loss of a child, was good, you didn't need another one. There was a lot that his family did, that put me down in a way. I mean, I was just manipulated by his side, and that's when the manipulation with him started. So, he threatened to divorce me, and at the time I just felt like it was because of all those problems. So we wound up moving. Mind you, a month after I had miscarried, I wound up pregnant again. So that would be with my second child, my son. And we moved to Indiana for the first time, started a life, bought a trailer, figured that if we got away from the toxic family stuff, that we could reconnect and things would get better. Then the ex started talking to other women. I think at one point he told this woman that I had died during childbirth while I was about 6 months pregnant with my son. He said I had died during childbirth. He had a daughter and a dog. So that really hurt. And being that I was young, I was away from family, I didn't have any other options. I mean, it's not like I had anywhere really to go. I was at home, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, taking care of cooking, everything. I did everything. And when he started to seek out other females to talk to, it was really hard for me because I felt like I was lacking in some way and therefore strived for perfection. I know now that I should have left, but at the time I was 21. I didn't know anything. I lived a very sheltered life. Like I said, I didn't have those chances to grow and for my mind to develop and for normal functioning relationships to happen. So I stuck by it because I took my vows very seriously and I did what I could. All these things kept happening. Then he started the name calling. He started the abusive behavior. He started the manipulation. I wasn't allowed to go outside and walk. Like, that was one of my things that I did before I met him. But I wasn't allowed to go outside and walk anywhere because it was too dangerous. Everything would be a fight. Anything I wanted to do, any dream I wanted to pursue, any aspect of anything that would help me get on my feet or help me in a way that if he didn't change, get away from him, he didn't have any of it. So it was easier to just do as I was basically expected versus fighting and arguing all the time. So after years of this, I broke up with my ex, and I wanted to teach him how badly he had hurt me, so I did things to make sure that his emotions were hurt, things that I told myself I'd never do. So I got on sites around this time and met someone else. I sat him down beforehand, of course. Then I broke up with him. I told him I was going to do what I want. He could do what he wanted, whatever. And I was seeking some sort of attention or whatever or whatnot. I can't really tell you at this point. I was pretty broken. After so many years of dealing with that stuff, you don't tend to make good decisions or, do good things for yourself. DCS stuff happened, kids got taken, I had to fight through that. Stuff in New Mexico happened with his family and all of that. Moved back here, and I gathered evidence against my ex about his behaviors, the types of things that I had caught him doing, and that is how I eventually was able to get him to agree to sign the divorce papers and allow me to leave. So it was either that or I was going to go to court and just expose it all. So there's that. And that's pretty much a very basic sum up of some of the things that would happen, but there was a lot to my childhood and through the marriage with my ex that had happened that there is not enough time in the world to sit here and explain all of it, because I would have an hour or two long video of descriptions of my childhood and, an hour long video of a description of what I went through and the types of things I went through. Name calling from the ex, just threats and control. It's basically like all I could do was be controlled my whole life until I had become broken and started to find myself. So I know this next video that I'm going to post right after this one is going to be about the first year of how I found myself, kind of, and if I can fit it in 13 minutes, also the second year of me working on myself and how that came about. So this is just a basic sum up of this stuff, and then I'll get to a video about talking about the things and what it's like to live an entire life being abused, controlled, and manipulated, and how I was able to get away. And this stuff I'm hoping will help you guys understand that when you are going through that as a kid and raised up in it, and then you enter a relationship with somebody and they do all but put their hands on you, you think that life is alright and better because at least you're not being hit on. At least that was my mentality then. So, I'll talk a bit about that and the mental places I was in, and then we'll get to the point of where I'm at now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Later.